requiring or exhibiting courage, also in a bad sense, audacious, presumptuous, overstepping usual bounds. And the usual bounds of a woman, it tells you in Timothy, 1 Timothy, is to learn in silence. Just stop. Just stop, Gwen. Just stop, Madam Logic Bum. Because you all don't know what you're talking about. And you've already said that it's above your knowledge level. So let the men of the Lord, the men who've been commanded, right? The men who've been commanded to do this. Ezekiel, Salakia. Ezekiel 37:10. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army. What are they doing? Because Gwen scoffed at them standing on the street corners. What are they doing? They're standing out there so that they could wake up their people. You can't do that in a church. You're not supposed to do that in a church. Gwen talks about how it's common sense, how all of this is common sense, but the Hebrew Israelites need scriptures. No, it's not that we need scriptures. It's that, well, it is that we need scriptures. It's that the scriptures tell you. The scriptures tell you in Proverbs 3. Five through 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. He's obviously not directing your path. If you can't see why the scriptures are important and why they answer with scriptures, then you don't understand. You don't understand. Then Miss Gwen decides she goes to speaking in tongues. Fine, great, you spoke in tongues. Where are your witnesses? Where are your witnesses to interpret what you said? If I'm not mistaken, you need 2 or more witnesses, or right now it's a lie. It's a sham. And you all were sent here as stumbling blocks. You all were sent here as stumbling blocks. So you're just fulfilling your lot. And so as we move on, she talks about obeying her father. Well, if you're obeying your father, then you would keep quiet and gain wisdom. Then you would gain, because the Most High loves those that dwell in wisdom. Wisdom of Solomon 7. This is in the Apocrypha, ladies. Wisdom of Solomon 7:28. For God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. For she is more beautiful than the sun, and above all the order of stars. Being compared with the light, she is found before it. For after this cometh night, but vice shall not prevail against wisdom. And you're like the blackness of night. But you won't prevail. You won't prevail. All the scoffing you're doing, all the, you won't prevail against the men of the Lord. So then, Salaki, I took notes on all the nonsense, and I was feverishly writing some things down that I wanted to touch upon. Matthew 18, 1-6. At the same time came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them. And he said, Yahushai, right? I read it in plain English so that you would understand. Gwen, verily I say unto you, Except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever there shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged around about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. So really, it's better for you to tie an anchor around your neck right now, Gwen, and walk off a pier somewhere. Because all of this is above your knowledge level. Or you could sit back and you can listen. Ladies, take heed. She's a good example of what we don't want to be. We hear a lot about how our Hebrew Israelite husbands are bashing Hebrew princesses and how they hate women so much. Little do they know, we're talking about the ones that are not behaving like Hebrew princesses. No one's talking about the women that are doing the right thing. Because in my home, although my husband's not fawning all over me all day long,